You're watching France 24. Hello and welcome to Beyond Business, the program where we look at the latest trends in the global economy. Today we're bringing you a special report on a nation with star power. Whether you like it or not, you'd probably agree it's punching well above its weight, and it's not afraid to flex its diplomatic and financial muscles. We're talking about Qatar and about its extraordinary arrival on the world stage. Just a few years ago, many of us would probably have had difficulties to pinpoint Qatar on a map. But last year, the Emirate was picked to host the Football World Cup in 2022. And at the same time, its political clout was seen to grow during the Arab uprisings. The development is fueling admiration and perhaps even envy. But it's also sparking questions about what Qatar is trying to achieve and why it's doing it.
Qatar is becoming a real international player.
Qatar saying we are small, but we can be influential.
I think this is maybe the best place to come in.
Si aujourd'hui le Qatar est sur le devant de la scène, c'est parce qu'ils offrent des choses bien meilleures qu'en Europe.
Could it be the best country in the world? A tiny Arab kingdom jutting out of the Arabian Peninsula, Qatar sits on the world's third largest reserves of natural gas. Only 300,000 of its 2 million inhabitants are Qatari nationals, the country sporting ultra-modern buildings, luxurious marinas and extravagant artificial islands. The IMF says Qatar is today one of the world's richest nations per capita. It's probably also the most active on the international stage. A relentless investor, in the space of only 10 years, Qatar has joined the ranks of the international heavyweights. But what does Qatar really want? We headed to the capital Doha, to the Shafala Centre for Children with Special Needs. For 5 years now, Shafala has organised an international forum on the topic of disability, presided over by the Emir of Qatar's second wife. We joined other journalists from around the world for the conference. The world's major humanitarian groups were also in attendance.
That was, because we really have contacts with them. We've been going to the United Nations sessions, meeting with them, talking about the forum, and they've all been, good enough to come and join us for this forum.
The 5th Shafala Conference on Disability is bigger and better than ever. We started in 2006, and I think the Shafala Conference has now become a big event in the world, and it's a place where activists from all over the world can come and talk about issues of disability.
In the last few years, Qatar has become a major humanitarian player.
Qatar have been emerging on humanitarian issues, which I watch very closely, as a real force in terms of humanitarian affairs.
Qatar is quite good ambassador because apart from creating awareness, it also goes on to help not only the children or the people in Qatar, but also in other parts of the world.
Among the delegates, the French Secretary of State for Health, Nora Berra. She took the time to meet her Qatari counterpart.
France is a good friend, an older friend, and we have a good relationship with them. And we are delighted that Her Excellency the Minister accepted our invitation to attend our international events.
The Qataris have taken a liking for Europe, pouring in billions of dollars, turning the continent into a casino where Qatar wins every time. The kingdom has bought up pricey real estate, hotels like the Royal Monceau and the Carlton in Cannes, both in their portfolio, along with Harrods, a London department store. They've also infiltrated European industry, buying stakes in firms like media group Lagardère. Qatar paid $250 million for a painting by French artist Cézanne, also splashing out on contemporary works. Japanese artist Takashi Murakami is currently holding an exhibition in Doha. And in the world of sport, the country held the Asian Cup football tournament last year. It's holding the World Athletics Championship in 2017, and above all, the Football World Cup in 2022. Qatar also snapped up Paris Saint-Germain Football Club last year, with Al Jazeera spending €300 million on television broadcasting rights for French Ligue 1 football and the Champions League. And they're not done yet. We came to Aspire, a sports complex in Doha. Spread over 200 hectares are giant stadiums, air-conditioned athletics tracks, and the Aspetar Sports Clinic, recognised by FIFA as a centre of excellence.
We have over 45 nationalities here. So we are going to get the talent wherever they are, and we are very pleased that we have in the senior group, we have people from France as well. And France is advancing in sport and sports medicine.
Frenchman Boabdel Attari is the European record holder in the 3,000-metre steeplechase. He's here to receive physiotherapy for his shin.
I honestly think they've been pioneering in their open-mindedness. Just look at what Aspire has done with the facilities they have. And I really think that for the next 10 years, the future of sports is in the Middle East and not elsewhere.
The future belongs to the young. Qatar's young footballers train here at Aspire.
There are about 30 young people here in each category. Sometimes there are even more of them, and I think that by 2022, some of them will hopefully make the Qatari national side.
These youngsters are only 8 years old, and like all of Doha's school children, they take sports lessons. It's a good way for Aspire's coaches to spot tomorrow's champions, those who could be representing their country in the 2022 World Cup.
I think Aspire provides a professional environment. I think that in a few years, we'll see players who'll make the European leagues.
Qatari cash isn't only cultivating the footballing talent of the future, it's also sowing the seeds that will grow to become the next business giants. In France alone, the Emirate has set aside €50 million for fostering young entrepreneurs from working neighbourhoods. We came to Drancy, a suburb north of Paris. 43-year-old Mohamed Kemlish has long sought to launch an elevator repair company. He's recently submitted an application to the Qataris.
The fact that Qatar came along with the finances was a real opportunity for me that I wanted to take advantage of. I'm well aware that what matters are my abilities and not anything else. I don't think they'd invest in a company if they didn't think it was competent.
Nabila Aissawi started her legal advisory company in 2009. We caught up with her at the Business Diversity Fair in Paris. Today she needs new funding to grow her firm. She's also submitted her candidacy to the Qataris.
They make private investments. Mine is a private company. I have no problem whatsoever with negotiating about financing with anyone at all. If it were the United States that was investing, I'd be just as willing to accept. So it doesn't matter much to me which company it is, so long as we can agree on the terms and it doesn't work against me.
Charity, sport, art, business, and now Europe's poorer neighbourhoods. Qatar appears to be everywhere. But why exactly all of this economic activism? Some analysts say that behind the communication exercise lies a crisis of identity.
Qatar needs all of that to be able to survive. They need to be everywhere because they need to compensate for their geopolitical vulnerability.
Rich but vulnerable, Qatar needs to make its presence felt abroad. Yet why then impulse buying over strategic investment?
Qatar doesn't have the means to pursue a long-term strategy, either by implanting itself abroad or via its investment policies. They seem to be handicapped by their own demographics.
Still, that's not stopping Qatar from nurturing regional and even global ambitions.
Today, Qatar is taking off in such a way that it's trying to become a new global center of the Arab world, an Islamic center for the 21st century.
To meet this objective, Qatar first has to ensure not only its military security, but also a sure supply of food. We met the president of the Qatari National Food Programme.
A country like Qatar that imports 90% of its food finds itself in a position that it needs to secure that import in a sustainable way, and therefore it started its food security program.
So while Qatar is buying up football teams and artistic masterpieces in front of the cameras, it's also been quietly snapping up land overseas.
For nearly a decade now, Qatar's been developing a strategy called agribusiness. That means it's been buying up plots of fertile land in Africa and in Asia.
According to the African Development Bank, the kingdom farms 40,000 hectares of land in Kenya. Qatar's negotiating similar projects in Sudan, Ukraine and Argentina. Securing drinking water is another vital issue. Qatar has only 2 days' worth in reserves. Now, with the help of French company GDF Suez, Qatar's opening water purification facilities like the one here in Doha. From art to water, football to farming, Qatar's strategy is hard to pin down. Exactly what ambitions lie behind the investments? Independence, security, or the desire for greatness?
All right, and with that, we're going to wrap up this edition of Beyond Business. Thanks very much indeed for watching. And don't forget that you can get more business news on our website. The address, just as usual, it's france24.com. Don't go away. We have more news coming your way very, very soon.